Let's just go back to talking about Ben Orenstein's public dating profile.
Okay, so I think that it's cute that in it he does that 6'4", if that matters. Kind of
if you're
thing.
shallow enough for it to matter to you that I'm 6'4", I am 6'4".
But he's looking for women who are, how does he put it? He says that he's specifically looking for women who are outlier smart.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Kind of like black swan smart or whatever.
Yeah, and you also have to be highly agentic and emotionally warm.
Yeah.
Ooh, am I agentic enough?
I'm only medium agent.
Yeah.
So I'm out immediately.
You're definitely, he doesn't want anybody who is an NPC, I guess. Is he doesn't want anyone who might have, you would hate it if your wife had pathing issues.
Okay, check this out. Within the founder of Tupel's thing, he's also talking about something called Fractal, which is a community for friendly, ambitious people who want to connect meaningfully and build a thriving social scene. I don't know, bitch, find a wife there.
So from the people who brought us Tuple, we also have Fractal.
It's literally at Fractal.
It's literally
Girl,
on Fractal.
you just have to come down to Fractal.
Come down to Fractal. It's on Tuple. You can find the love of your life between Fractal and Tuple.
I'm serious. It's so easy. Just come to Fractal. And there is a section called monogamy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it monogamous?
No.
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 It's not.
Is it
No,
polyamorous?
No.
No. No, it's not.
Oh, it's a secret. Okay. Is it he cheats on you?
Ding, ding, ding.
Well, it's monogamish is what he's saying, which sounds
that
like...
means he cheats on you. Yeah, no, I get what that means. It's what it is the guy from Tuple, the founder of Tuple, fucks around on you and then says retroactively, oh yeah, that was monogamish. That was the ish that I was doing, and then you do the monogam.
I like how he's managed to get a slur towards polyam people here. I've been directly attacked because he says, unlike my poly friends, and poly is in italics, unlike my poly friends, I'm not interested in having significant outside romantic relationships.
Yeah, she meant nothing to me, you know.
But he is also not interested in maintaining a lifelong sexual exclusivity either.
Cool.
Yeah. He loves Bo Burnham. So you and the founder of...
Bond. You could bond over Inside or second Bo Burnham show, and he could tell you that like he wants to stay approximately monogamous with you. Really, it's really the worst of both worlds.
I hope this works because I'm going to find his wife and I'm going to cuck this man. I'm going to cuck the founder of Tuple.
Alert. The founder of Tuple has been cucked. I repeat, the founder of Tuple has been cucked.
Air raid
It is not
sirens
on
going
Tuple.
off.
It's going to be all the talk at Fractal. I'm going to rock up to Fractal and I'm going to be like, hey girl.
This is the thing, one of the many things that bothers me so much about how people like the co-founder, not even the founder of Tuple, he's the co-founder of Tuple, right? Like aim higher, potential partner.
The only thing more embarrassing than getting cucked by the founder of Tuple, getting cucked by the guy who was the angel investor of Tuple and then bought the rights to call himself the founder of Tuple.
Yeah. One of the things that bothers me so much about this shit is it's not just the like sort of the kitschy sociopathic positivity or the like agentic language or whatever. What bothers me so much about it is these people, the kind of people who would co-found Tuple, they just see the entire world as a product to go and buy with the right characteristics. It's just like, it's because like what he's describing with Fractal Boston is just a group of friends. But he's like, no, I've arranged a warm, dynamic community that regularly meets to share food. It's like, what you're describing is a group of friends.
My God, in the basics of him, one thing that he wants you to know is that he bought a lake house with his family and spends every weekend with his family. So the absolute basics for him is, by the way, you're going to have to spend every weekend with your in-laws at a lake house.
Unless he's fucking.
Unless he's fucking. Unless he's fucking.
Unless he's fucking. On Tuple.
On Tuple.
On Tuple. It's all happening on Tuple.
Like, okay, but I shouldn't even ask you this, Riley, but what the fuck is Tuple? Do we know?
It doesn't matter.
It's literally, listen.
It's where things are.
I suppose it's also just the entire thing is kind of frustrating because he clearly thinks he's doing something really avant-garde here. And it's like, sir, this is just a personal ad.
Yeah.
there's no difference between putting this on X, the everything app, like making your little website and putting it on X, and having a fucking, well, I mean, he's the founder of Tuple. He could be on Rhea.
Do you believe it that the co-founder of Tuple's spicy page is free? He made it free.
Getting semantic saturation for the phrase "founder of Tuple."
No one seems to have pointed out, because I also didn't know what Tuple was, and I've just sort of been like sitting here nodding my head, pretending I have. And so while you guys were talking, I was looking this up, and I was just thinking to myself, like, that's probably what he calls like anyone in a monogamous relationship, right? Like, you sort of like, oh, you guys have Tuple.
For guessing the word couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, guys are like tupled and monogamish and all that type of stuff.
I'm like
it's just,
too used to thruples, and so ultimately the word couple has passed out of my brain. So when I see one, I'm just like, oh, it's a tuple.
Yeah. What's the two-person version of a throuple again?
it's like something you'd come up with if like you live in some like Silicon Valley and like everything, all your social relations are like so fucking like distorted and like completely removed from like the rest of society and the rest of the world. But like that's the only way that you can kind of conceive of two people who want to sort of spend time with each other and have sex from time to time.
Additionally, I promise to go down on you at least 15 minutes a quarter.
Oh, listen, I just, by the time we got it, it just says a lot about this guy personally, that it's like, you're a rich dude who has a face and you haven't found a wife yet. I don't know what to tell you, bro. It's not that hard.
Something's going on there, yeah.
You're in San Francisco, just get your OPSEC right and then have a relationship with an asset.
Yeah, obviously.
But also like many such cases, he's like very like in that sort of world, like very regular. And the fact that he's sort of looking at like, he's got these criteria for like partners that are like fucking using terms like agentic and everything. Like, I don't know. It's very, I've been thinking a lot about like Joyce Carol Oates's throwdown of Elon Musk on the Everything app, which I saw today. And like, I won't read it out loud, but like, number one, she got his ass, but it's very like, but it's like in a really obvious way, just like, oh, okay, like you are like the richest man in the world. You're going to become the first trillionaire, right? At least like how legit that is, we can talk about that some other time, but you're technically like on paper, you're going to be the first trillionaire and you have no, like you enjoy nothing. Like you have no interest,
no hobbies,
you have no hobbies, like you have no appreciation for the world outside of you. You have like, you are kind of like the most, because like her line being like, you will find more richness and beauty in like on the account of like the poorest person on Twitter than you will ever find on like this guy's page. And like all he could respond to was like, oh, she's being mean to me.
Well, no, that's not true. That's not true. He started posting about movies.
Oh, okay, fine.
He
all right.
started quote tweeting people to be like, that's a great movie when they posted about movies.
That's a great movie.
That's
See, Joyce Carol Oates. Anyway, I hope you're really excited for the new fourth mic on KJB. All right. Welcome to TF. We got Dr. J with us.
Hi.
We are doing I've been trying to talk about the Peter Thiel Antichrist lectures for a while, but we have repeatedly and relentlessly been overtaken by events. And then when we finally weren't overtaken by events, Dr. J got ill.
I got the flu, baby. What y'all get? Hey, everybody get vaxxed.
The problem with like going on Tuple is that you will get the fluple. I'll leave now. I'm done for the day.
How many
See you
people
later.
is that? Or is it just one of them sick?
No, it's the fluple. It's when Ed Davey promises to go home with you after he's done on the log ride.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm in my I'm in my floop era.
I'm in a fluple with me, Ed Davey, in this log ride. Speaking of Ed Davey, we're gonna get to talking about the Antichrist stuff now that we're done being relentlessly overtaken by events. Speaking of Ed Davey, we're gonna get to the Maybe it's him.
It could be.
Maybe he's it.
Could be.
The Antichrist will come to Earth, promising himself as a savior off of like a zip line.
This is a man who like finds joy in everyday life, right? And like whatever your politics is, like he finds joy in like just the sort of normal mundane things. And to like these fucking Silicon Valley weirdos, that must sort of be like satanic behavior. Like they must sort of see pure evil in like just a guy being normal.
Yeah, I think that they have such an inability to relate to it that that since there is no joy in their lives, they can only experience it as some form of witchery.
So we're going to talk a little bit about some UK news, a little bit of private sector news, and then we're going to get to, of course, the Antichrist. Who is it? Is it Ed Davey?
I hope the UK news is good.
Well,
usually it is.
Of course it is. So this is one we were talking a little bit about, Nova. It seems as though the British government has decided to protect women and girls. We've heard of these.
I
people?
love it when it does that. And I always feel so protected.
I tell you what, nothing makes me feel better than when the long arm of the state comes and tells me what I need to be doing with my junk, essentially. And they do so frequently. And that just makes me feel empowered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So as women and girls, of course, do you feel safer now that the depicting of strangulation in pornography is going to be treated as equivalent to the production of child sexual abuse material?
No, I really don't, to be honest. And I think you identify something key about this, which is not sort of spoken about often. As you know, more and more of like internet pornography gets more policed, which is the specter of the pedo looms over all of this, right? Like
there's a specter haunting Europe.
Yeah, but it's a
just
nonce.
a specter haunting one bit of Europe.
You can kind of see that a bit more obviously, most recently with the age verification stuff, where you had Labour ministers saying, if you don't want to give your driver's license to go to Pornhub, you must be a pedophile, right? But, you know, that was the sort of initial kind of pornography that was justly, correctly criminalized. But now any criminalization of any pornography has that sort of hanging over it. And I think it's been a very deliberate thing to kind of chill speech about that. And I think you saw that with the age verification thing. You saw that before that with extreme pornography, where you kind of, anyone who wants to defend the sort of libertarian right of the British people to jerk themselves silly to things containing consenting adults, there, you know, is immediately a suspicion that can be cast on them, right? I think it's really striking that amongst libertarians, who I don't normally rely on to be sort of normal people, but they are cranks enough, you would think, to be consistent, I have seen a defense of landlords being allowed to give their child tenants asthma and kill them before I have seen a defense of why the fuck are you looking at my pornography? So it really is just this sort of full court press where you are expected to just not mention that any of this is happening because it's unseemly. And if you talk about, you know, people consuming pornography, maybe you consume pornography. What kind of pornography do you consume? And it's just, it's very, very strange and hostile.
Yeah, I think that you're bang on here, Nova. There is this very specific thing that happens where, you know, everybody does, you know, consume pornography. It's a media that everybody uses regularly, you know, young adults on up, but you're not allowed to talk about that fact. And so it's very, very easy to criminalize any aspects that are deemed extreme. And to quote Miles, I forget Miles' last name.
Miles Jackman.
Niles Jackman. Scene queen shit over here. I'm like, you know, Miles. Anyway, but you know what, Miles.
Really, Miles? I was just one.
It's like, you also know the one barrister in the entire country who cares about this stuff.
I remember speaking to him a long time ago about feet pics. And one of the funny...
if he sold them.
One of the funniest things he told me, one of the funniest things I sort of got the impression of is that, like, he's like a very good lawyer who does so much work. And like, I imagine there must be some kind of like, oh, why am I talking about porn again? Like, I'm so much more than this. And he's a very good lawyer, but I do find that quite funny. Just like,
I mean, I think specifically his thing here though, is that, you know, he always says it's like, well, extreme to whom?
Yeah.
Like, and that's the question, is just, and because when you say that this is extreme, that can kind of be pushed in any direction. And I think what I am worried about with the criminalization of anything happening within pornography is I just assume they're going to come for trans people next. Like, I'm sorry, but absolutely. I do.
Well, so the thing is, as the government have acknowledged when sort of talking about making this illegal, one of the reasons why they want to do it is because it's, you know, supposedly running rampant. It, you know, as a feature of like huge amounts of mainstream pornography is like, you know, something that children are exposed to. And so immediately you run into this problem of, if it's that common, you cannot criminalize it that seriously without sending the entire country to jail. And the police don't have the resources to do that anyway. So what you get is a kind of random enforcement of it that is ultimately going to be sort of weighed on by bigger structural factors, right? So like, if you think about how likely the police are to be going through your phone, right? Who are the people who are most likely for that to happen to? People who are disproportionately searched already, or most notably, victims and witnesses of crime. So you already have a deterrent to reporting crime, potentially. But also, you end up with this situation where I don't think you can successfully convince ordinary people that watching porn that includes strangulation, that includes choking, is morally equivalent to child pornography. And so people who do watch porn, or even like, because of the way the laws are drafted, basically have ever visited any porn site, they're never going to put themselves mentally in that category. They're never going to kind of internalize the illegality of that. And so it's just going to land on them like a ton of bricks if it happens to them, which there's no guarantee that it will. There was a story that came up on the legal advice subreddit. Do not go to Reddit for legal advice. But it was a guy whose girlfriend had left her laptop open at a party, and some like sort of vengeful ex of hers had like logged onto her laptop where she had Skyrim playing, and being a freak, brackets, non-judgmental, she had some mods for Skyrim which were of the sort of, let's say, monster fucker nature, right? Like the Dragonborn of Skyrim gets their back walls blown out by werewolves, right? Sure, whatever. And that person went to the police. And again, you see the kind of specter of the pedophile sort of looming over all of this, which is if the police take your computer out of your house in a plastic bag in front of all of your neighbors are not thinking, wow, I bet she's got some great Skyrim mods installed, And that's absolutely real and absolutely life ruining. And I cannot for the life of me see what the public good is supposed to be there, or what good is being served to anyone by criminalizing someone like that.
As per usual, right? This is the Labour government, which is the weakest government with like a supermajority in parliament in history.
They just, they skip arm day. I don't know.
So what they're doing is they are trying to look like they are solving some kind of a social problem, but the actual solution to the social problem of young people accessing pornography by, I don't know, using a VPN or whatever.
Oh, a virtual pedophile network.
Well, yes, quite. Isn't to just like deny the reality of the internet, which it is largely global, right? You're accessing the same internet as someone in Germany or the United States is, by and large.
Yeah.
And so like the fact that this is now that norms around this in Britain are extremely different doesn't really...
They aren't. Yeah. The norms are the same. Like they concede that even.
The laws,
it's an attempt to change those norms that is not going to work because you can go onto that self-same internet. And also, people are fucking weird about porn, right? Like, take for instance the law about extreme pornography, right? The extreme pornography law criminalizes, amongst other things, like bestiality, right? Which is how your Skyrim monster fucker lady gets arrested. Fairly regularly, people, men usually, will get arrested for something, non-sexual, like, malicious communication, something like that. And also you will find, get a charge of extreme pornography tagged on because men are weird and love to send each other the Mr. Hands video in WhatsApp groups or whatever. And so it'll just be like, oh yeah, all of this stuff that you maybe already did, and also one count of hyper-noncing. And
listen, I just want to shout out Enumclaw, like, what's up, Washington State? That's like Mr. Hands mentioned.
And again, it's one of those things where it's like, you're never going to convince those people that kind of, as they see it, banter is as dangerous to them, as illegal as child pornography would be, And again, I think it's something where you have a government that's decided this is its one thing where it's going to try and use policy to change public opinion and norms, right? For the more censorious, for the more conservative. But they're doing it in a way that, despite, everyone using pornography, including presumably Labour MPs, none of this is drafted in a way that makes you think that anyone involved has ever actually been on the internet in their lives. It's so completely divorced from the way most people go on the computer that it's very strange. And meanwhile, if you concede, as I think we should, that there is a social problem with children being exposed to pornography and sort of like the social expectations that creates, you can't spend any money on sex education, the one thing we know works, because that's money. We don't have that. So instead we're just gonna do this, and your actual kind of social problems of pornography are going to vastly outpace any attempt to legislate. You already see shit with like AI usage that's just completely sort of running rings around this.
Well, I'll tell you, like, from just a personal standpoint, because obviously this is about me, duh. But like every single fucking time, like some new law about pornography gets brought in, my household loses money. Because my partner's a sex educator, and like it's always about porn, but like a surprise, it'll just be about like, actually, I'm trying to like teach kids not to put things that don't have flared bases up their asses. Like that's, you know, like I'm just trying to teach kids how not to get pregnant. And it like all of this has knock-on effects for you know, like my house. It's why it's legal for me to sell my book online is because of Fosta Sesta, because the 15th century picture of Eve is pornography. And so for me, I really bristle anytime a new pornography thing comes in, because I'm like, oh shit, we're about to get more impoverished. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's personally repressive. And again, because of what I said earlier about the kind of chilling effect, you're not supposed to say, especially as a woman and girl, you're not supposed to say, I actually quite like being choked sexually, right? Like that's degrading to you, and you're not supposed to like things that are degrading. You're not supposed to like things that are dangerous or things that are bad for you.
Can I just stop you now?
And so you're in this position where it's like, okay, for the moment, it is legal for you to continue to enjoy this with consenting adults. But if either of you films it, or if someone else films it, that's up there with like serious sexual offenses. And I just, it's bizarre. It's surreal. And it does feel a bit like every day you wake up in this country and something else is illegal, and we're sort of walking towards the wanking license, you know?
Listen, eventually the only thing that you'll be able to do in the morning is wake up and salute dear leader Keir Starmer. We're gonna all have to go out onto our balconies to do this.
Just getting a kind of like hardness check from the police, just to make sure that you're saluting the flag with the sort of appropriate intentions in mind, you know?
It's one of the, I think this is our place to segue as well into an Elon update, which is of course his $1 trillion pay package was approved.
Oh, good. He must be really happy. He must be posting in a way that suggests that he's really relaxed and calm.
Oh, certainly.
All his friends got together with him and they had a big party.
He definitely wasn't psychically blown the fuck out by a 90-year-old woman.
Like, it's incredible because you can just make a joke that is like Elon Musk has friends and everyone goes off because you know that he does it.
He's got lackeys. He's got lackeys and flunkies. Plenty of lackeys and flunkies. And those are just as good. No, so the $1 trillion pay package was approved, and it comes with a lot of conditions. Among them is that he has to get 10 million people subscribing to Tesla's full self-driving feature, manufacture another 20 million vehicles, bring another million robo-taxis to the roads, increase profits by 400 billion.
Just normal stuff, sure. I mean, we've seen him fudge the numbers on previous things, and you go, why does SpaceX have 1,000 Cybertrucks in its parking lot? And the answer is because it's not legally self-dealing if Elon is doing it to meet his little sort of quest objectives.
Of course. And so he's the other thing he has to do is he has to deploy some millions of the Optimus robots.
The ones that you see at like movie premieres serving popcorn with like pre-programmed movements.
Or no, more specifically, it's the ones that are always being followed around by inconspicuous vans with antennas on them being teleoperated.
Sure. Okay. Great.
Yeah, so all he has to do is that. Right now, apparently the biggest challenge, hands. Can't get the hands right.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. They can never get hands right. None of these things.
It rhymes, you know?
He says at the shareholders meeting, other shareholders meetings are like snooze fests, but this is sick. We have a cyberpunk nightclub here with real robots milling around and dancing and stuff.
It's totally tubular.
Guy who knows what it's like to go to a nightclub and like have a night out. Yeah, you've got dancing, you got milling around. Third activity.
Yeah. And also I like that he's like, wow, it's like a cyberpunk nightclub. It's like, I don't think anyone there had like a monofilament katana.
I just feel like this motherfucker doesn't know. Like, I mean, I guess it's beside the point, but it's so frustrating how he doesn't actually know any nerd shit. Like he clearly doesn't understand what cyberpunk is. He like, you know, this is like, he's going to be like, oh yeah, it's like who the Blade Runner would hang out with.
Yeah, it's the car Blade Runner would drive. I
feel like Master Chief or Halo. I feel like Halo. Right. So basically, the humanoid robots are still not launching anytime soon.
I would, here's the thing, in the absence of anything else, and this isn't even as a labor-saving device, it wouldn't cost anyone its job. I would kind of like, if I was going to the club with people, to take a robot with us. I think that would be funny, conceptually, you know, hang out with the robot, do drugs with the robot.
What? Hold that thought for one moment, because as you know,
crowding the Optimus robot into the toilet stall to do coke.
Yeah, you're actually like the toilet stalls are designed for like 6 robots to be able to go into.
Training the Optimus robot to be like, girl, he wasn't good enough for you. You're better off.
Here's the thing, right? If you meet the girl robots outside the toilets or like in the toilets, it's like that's so much nicer because like you're like off stage, you know. It's like really like girls supporting girls, you know.
That's right.
So Musk's vision for the robots is, of course, you know, the usual thing, right? When you're a CEO that's trying to say to either save or destroy the world, or save the world from destruction of this powerful AI. Whenever they're talking about eschatology, and the CEO's answer as to how to fix it is always give me more money.
Crazy that.
Basically, that's the answer to sort of either the sort of dark and scary castle or the paradise. Either of those roads, it's the same road, which is pay me more.
Trying to explain feeling dissociative with only this language and being like, I feel like the Optimus robot who's been brought along on a night out.
It's just like I'm being teleoperated by a guy in a van, you know? So Musk said, the Optimus robot will eliminate poverty and give everyone amazing medical care.
How, though?
Wait, the robot's going to give me medical care?
Yeah, they're going to figure out hands, and then it's going to take out your kidneys.
Sorry, I took out the wrong one. I got fucked up last night.
I realize this is not a visual format, but I am just gaping at Riley now. I'm like, no, this is...
Oh, that's illegal. Musk says, because he just riffs on stage, right? He gets up and is like, oh yeah, this thing that we can't figure out that has to be teleoperated, that we can't get the hands right for. These like sort of this humanoid robot is going to like replace every doctor. It's going to replace every teacher. There is like this story, by the way, speaking of teachers, some people have been asking if we're going to talk about the Alpha School in Texas that tried to actually do the Tony Blair thing and replace all teachers with AIs. Yes, we will, just not today.
Nice.
In any case, they think it's going to replace everything. They also think that it's going to replace prisons.
Because you're in one already, you know, just like this experience is hell.
You think you're in the club with the Optimus bots? No. This is actually an elaborate sort of time prison.
In many ways, when you think about it, the design of the club with the Optimus bots is actually representative of a prison. You just sort of like break into Elon Musk's house and like put Foucault on tape in his ears. He's like, I just had the greatest idea. Look, if somebody's committed crime, a more humane form of containment of future crime, which is say like, you now get a free Optimus and it's going to follow you around and stop you from doing more crime.
Arrested for like watching choking porn, and now my punishment is I have to be followed around by a robot buddy.
Yeah.
No, I think we already established that the Optimus likes clubbing. The Optimus, the Optimus is going to be like, it's going to be absolutely dealing to you. This is actually useful. Just like
I am a freak like that.
Get the Optimus robot to do your criming for you. It's gonna be great. Yeah.
That the problem is like, you know, there are always these like stories of like correctional officers having relationships with inmates. It's like, I just loved her. But other than that, you get it to do anything. It's just going to stop you from. It's just going to stop you from committing crime. You don't have to put people in prisons and stuff, I think.
Again, it's going to slap the phone out of your hand if you're going to open some like pornography that is recently illegal.
But the problem is, because we know how AIs work.
Empowering to women
and girls. But we know how AIs work, right? Which is or at least how LLMs work. And the basis of this, of like embodied AI like this, is that number one, most of the compute for Optimus is probably going to have to, in theory, that they can build it, which they can't, right? That's
Let's assume for the sake of it that they build a humanoid robot that can walk around and its hands work.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. All right. Good. Not assuming that. I'm not, but we are, for the purposes of like not being like, okay, well, the show's over, I guess.
Assume a perfectly spherical cow, right? Like it's a postulate, right?
So my Optimus robot has delivered me a spherical cow. He says this is going to deter me from committing crime. I don't know why. So assume all that works, right? It's going to have a large language model powering most of it. And that could also be a kind of similar sort of image model where an image gets then translated into the same kinds of line segments that get drawn when large language models are extrapolating.
The pornography you're jerking off to isn't just troubling, it's also illegal, and it's got an M dash in there.
But what if you search choking, what to do if? By the time you're done typing the first word.
Well, the thing is, ultimately, the Heimlich maneuver does work as a kind of arrest technique as well. If someone came up to you and just Heimlicked you, you would probably like not resist,
comply.
Right? Yeah.
Getting around the choking ban by getting the Optimus robot to do it. Yeah, so you just feel, like a world in which you say you're choking, and then because it's a fucking robot, it goes for it. Listen, I'm working it out. We're going to work it out. It's fine. I think I've seen this on Archer.
It's technically like misconduct in a public office. It's like bribery or something.
You fake yourself a supervillain called like Steel Neck. And then there's only one way to stop me from robbing a bank, Optimus. You know what you have to do.
The Joker confronting Optimus, being like, "Careful, Optimus. If you choke me too much, I'll come."
Optimus, if you jerk me off, I'll be more powerful than you can ever imagine. Okay.
Well, I think we're cooking. We're inventing powerful new kinks today.
I can't believe that Elon Musk said all of this at the shareholders presentation, and they were like, "Yeah, $1 trillion."
Yeah, it is. I mean, like, listen, I understand that the entire thing that's going on at Tesla is that you can't break kayfabe, right? Like you have to pretend that the Optimus robots are going to exist and all of these things, because then otherwise people might actually question any of the valuations. But also, like, come on, man, like it's getting more and more difficult to just not like I'm going to choose to think of the Optimus robots as a fetish. That's what I'm doing going forward, and I'm going to be like, that's fine.
Well, like the one tech demo he did where it was clearly a guy in a suit, and maybe that's the future. Is it's all just he ships 1 million guys in suits who have to follow you around.
That's how it's solving unemployment, is because he's gonna basically just hire a million people to put the suits on.
It's not like you could hire 1 million more probation officers, but instead of that, what we've got is 1 million guys in like black Zentai. Is it illegal to know what a Zentai is? It's just a skin-tight bodysuit. I feel like any second now that in itself will also be a crime.
But even then, we just have to get like how about this? Because everybody in Britain, or more or less everybody in Britain, has now accidentally committed a crime.
Oh, everyone in Britain is now a sex criminal, like in a very real sense.
Yeah, so everyone gets an Optimus. And
okay, all right.
Right?
You know, again, we're cooking, so we're gonna find a way.
Everyone in Britain gets followed around by the Elon Musk, the robot with Elon Musk's personality.
Oh my fucking God.
Okay, all right. Now I'm out.
Making the clutch move of ordering pizza for us at 1 a.m.
You know what bothers me sometimes? Because there's some posts that stick in your head. And that one, it's not the clutch move of ordering pizza. It's that they talked about drinking a wine that had not yet fully opened up.
Yeah.
And given the money,
it keeps him awake at night.
Given the money that they have, I'm just wondering, what wine did they waste?
Honey Badger drinks when he wants. Riley.
Oh God.
What would? Yeah, that's like you know what it is. It's what we're creating now is like sort of Tartarus-like personal hells, where my Optimus robot follows me around and keeps me from ever allowing a wine to open up.
Yeah, he just takes it back. We're putting the cork back in, Riley.
No, that's not enough. That doesn't actually stop oxidation. No. Anyway, but the other thing is this is it, right? This is the plan. None of this, of course, takes into account that Chinese electric vehicles are 1 million times better. So basically, Elon Musk's $1 trillion pay package more or less requires the U.S. government to maintain its kind of trade war with China indefinitely.
Hey, look at China. All of them are being followed around by a better robot.
Well,
it's more agile.
It's like the user experience on this robot is so much better, you know? Chinese century, I'm playing mahjong with my parole robot.
So, but the other thing he seems most focused on is late at night, he sort of posts videos of the AI girlfriend he wishes he had.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, right? Like,
A normal thing to do.
Eventually, this is going to happen to all of us. I'll be having sort of late night talks with Parole Bot over the mahjong table, you know, and I'll realize sort of how, you know, high resolution its eyes are.
Well, you'll be in a tuple with the robot and the AI girlfriend, right?
Yeah,
That's right.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it comes for us all. And okay, yeah.
I'll say. Wait.
Elon Musk is uniquely pathetic, as Joyce Carol Oates sort of identified. I think the thing that really, really amuses me is since buying Twitter, how much more he tweets and how late into the night, like 3 a.m, tweeting.
Well, this was released by the Wall Street Journal. It's doing pretty good reporting on a lot of things recently, I gotta say. They sort of kind of glossed over this a little bit, but this is on an article about how he's like barely working at Tesla. He's mostly just like doing his other like toys, whether that's the government or XAI or whatever.
Yeah, which again, he runs out of these pretty quickly. Like, you haven't heard anything about the Boring Company lately.
Well, you see, the thing about that is that got dull because it wasn't the cartoon that he imagined.
Yeah.
And so now he's imagining a new cartoon.
Okay, cool.
But he personally oversaw the design of a racy chatbot called Annie, an animated character with blonde pigtails and revealing outfits. We know about this. What we didn't know is that employees were compelled to turn over their biometric data to train avatars like Annie to be more convincingly human.
Ooh. That he is just collectively, eternally molested all of his female employees.
He committed the single largest simultaneous act of sexual harassment possibly ever.
I hate this man so much.
Yeah.
It's just like every time you think that it's there, it can't possibly go any lower, you find out something like this. It's like, and none of these women have been offered horses, for example. So, you know, it's
hey, the horse clause, it's all getting very feudal, isn't it?
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
The feudal lord has stipulated that sort of all of the comely maidens of the village must get together to pose for an erotic tapestry. And, you know, the horse clause in the feudal contract isn't even being honored.
Yeah, it's just there's no point to any of this. Like, at least, you know, if you're gonna like make you know a simulacrum of me pretend to bounce on it, then I should at least get a fucking horse. Like, listen.
Yeah. So essentially, yes, you are allowed that XAI gets, quote, a perpetual worldwide non-exclusive sub-licensable royalty-free license to use, reproduce, and distribute their faces and voices to a chatbot that Tesla guys fuck.
This is profoundly sick.
Hey, how is that less illegal?
This is the thing that should be as illegal as child pornography, I think.
Yeah.
When I joked about getting the Optimus robot to choke me till I came, that was cute because I did it. Okay, like this is sick and perverted.
Yeah. Do not. You're not allowed to use an LLM to use. We have so much of our voices recorded. I really need nobody to use an LLM.
No, it's genuinely. Yeah. No, absolutely.
But so yeah, this is. But it's like. It's like not just that, it's like molesting your ghost, because after you die, if XAI still exists.
Yeah, it's like all the kind of collective of me and all of my coworkers' ghosts are being molested. Yeah, this is.
Listen, I want you to know. Okay,
by Tesla
so
owners.
In the first place, I don't think it'll still exist after I'm dead because, you know, of all of the events. But I will haunt you. I say this now, people in the future, if you use my voice for some like sex AI thing, I'm going to come back. I'm going to haunt you. I will find you and it won't be sexy.
No.
All right. It's not going to be like that scene in Ghostbusters, the original one. Go back and watch that shit. It's off the. It's not good.
Like that one scene in Audition.
That's right.
It's going to be Paranormal Activity, I promise. Yeah. Whenever you talk about Tesla, you always have to remember several things at once. Number one.
That's so difficult. I don't want to do that.
That's not only difficult, it's impressive. Wow, I can't believe you remembered several things at once. You should invent a new kind of math and then jump off a bridge about it.
This is. Can I take us on a beautiful, very short tangent?
Yes, please.
I have been greatly enjoying and experiencing Schadenfreude about Kim Kardashian not going to law school, saying that she was asking ChatGPT for help with law questions.
Hell yeah.
Getting mad when it gave her the wrong answers, trying the bar exam, failing the bar exam, trying the bar exam, failing the bar exam again, playing a lawyer on TV, and then issuing a statement saying all my losses were lessons, that was clearly also written by ChatGPT.
Fuck yeah.
I think that's a beautiful little thing for us.
My girls and I were down pub the other night, and some of them are watching the Kim Kardashian lawyer show. And apparently at a point in time, there is a line in it, which is, she's got to learn to negotiate the space between what she wants and how much she wants it. Which doesn't mean anything.
It
sounds written by an LLM.
But it's very fun with your girls to try to deliver that line as Kim Kardashian, because the crucial thing is your face can't move, right? Because like there's like so much Botox, so you can't like do any drama with it. You have to keep the whole thing tight. So that's a free one for the girlies.
Yeah. See, what I learned recently is you have to resonate at the front of your mouth.
Yeah.
Oh God, I haven't been doing that at all.
The things you check out No Gods No Mayors for me resonating with the front of my mouth.
Unexpected item and not bagging out. Okay. I'm locking back in.
So the things you have to remember when you're talking about Tesla is that number one, that is the only publicly traded one of all of Elon Musk's companies. And as you mentioned earlier, Nova, there are all of these arrangements between all of them to shift the money that there is to wherever it needs to go. Number one. Number two, the cars are bad and haven't gotten better. Number three, market share in Europe is absolutely plummeting. And adoption of Chinese electric vehicles is much, much faster. And while self-driving is stupid, largely just because, it's incredibly inefficient. It doesn't really work in cities. In many ways, it's more dangerous. There are other companies that are much closer to something that vaguely looks like it than Tesla.
It's not even like you can do it, but like they can fake it more consistently.
Yeah, like Tesla is a lot of things, but most of those things, it mostly what Tesla sells is Tesla stock. That's mostly what they mostly do most of the time. And so their real product is the shareholder meeting. It's not the robots. It's not the cars. It's not anything else. It sells Tesla stock so Elon Musk can get paid to pay Diablo and phone his children occasionally.
I heard the shareholder meetings are sick.
Yeah, like a cyberpunk nightclub. Oh. Look, Eleanor.
Hello.
Dr. Janega.
Yes.
Here's the thing. You said you have ideas about the Antichrist.
I do.
And we've been, now that we're no longer being outpaced by events quite as much, it's finally time to talk about, I have in the notes here, Peter Thiel's Antichrist malarkey that he's been doing for 30 years.
Yeah. This is a really interesting one for those of us who wrote an actual PhD on Antichrist shit. And indeed, I have a chapter coming out about this in an eschatology volume coming up. So I'm particularly interested in Antichrist. That is my particular eschatological niche. And I find it so incredibly funny what Peter Thiel is doing. So yeah, I forced Riley to let me be the person to talk about this. So, sorry, everyone.
So to set everyone up for this, I mean, I think it was pretty well known that Peter Thiel had recently delivered a series of lectures on the Antichrist that was sponsored by a Bay Area coalition of Christians called Acts 17, which is pretty funny. I'll get into that later.
I'll just look that up real quick.
Yeah, this is what he's doing. He's been making this point since the 1990s, and the point is largely the same, and it is a thing that the tech right, call them that, has been talking about for about the same amount of time, which is any attempt to regulate me should be perceived as eliminating the catch-on.
Which is incredibly funny to me, but because I'm so sorry, this sounds like real Antichrist shit. Like it's very funny because obviously he's positioning himself as the fighter of Antichrist, but it just sounds like Antichrist rhetoric. And so there's this interesting thing. So we differentiate when we're talking about Antichrist. There's like the historical Antichrist, which is this idea that there is a guy. Right. There is a guy who is Antichrist, who is going to do all of the things that are in the book of Revelation. We also have what we call Antichrist language. So you can say that something is Antichrist language if you say when I say I think that Peter Thiel is acting, like Antichrist, that's the sort of thing that I would expect Antichrist to do. That's Antichrist language. Right. And then there are Antichrist accusations, which are pointing at someone and saying you are Antichrist. And those are like three different things that we have to differentiate between when we're talking about it. And I find it really interesting because he's attempting to level Antichrist accusations in order to get what it is he wants, which is unlimited monies for him. Which again, like I can't stress enough, it's just like real Antichrist things.
Because already has that basically.
Yeah, and I guess for those who don't know, so it's like the figure of Antichrist, or the historical Antichrist, is supposed to be a guy. right? And so the theoretical historical Antichrist is supposed to be a guy. We don't exactly know where he's going to come from because Satan can't give birth to anything, like, he can't produce anything. What most theologians tended to say about him is that he would essentially be possessing a child in the womb, usually a child of very bad people. So like in the medieval period, they'd be like an evil monk and nun who are banging when they shouldn't, or possibly like a sex worker or something, someone evil, something like that. And then he will suddenly kind of emerge as a power structure. He's going to rebuild the temple in Jerusalem. He's going to have everyone worship him as though he were Christ. He will kill anyone who's like, it doesn't seem very Christ-like to me, dog. Then Enoch and Elias are going to show back up because the Bible didn't say they died. He's going to kill them.
Gonna sort of tick off all of the sort of loose
we
ends.
have to tie up the loose ends. Yeah, so like if we didn't hear someone is dead, they have to be killed.
Ornstein's dating profile got really weird towards the end.
We've all been doing that one segment for like an hour.
Yeah.
Let's see. Emotionally warm, agentic, okay with a kind of fuzzily defined non-monogamy that seems to be whatever I want.
Looking for a
Kill
girl to help me
Enoch
like rebuild the temple.
And then eventually he's going to try to prove that he's the Christ after all these it doesn't seem very Christ-like dog accusations. He's going to attempt to ascend into heaven on the Mount of Olives in imitation of Christ, which he's going to use some kind of diabolic magic in order to get into the air a little bit, and then he's going to be struck down by the power of Christ's mouth, quote unquote, and he's going to fall to earth and die. At which point in time he gets thrown into the abyss. He'll show back up as the beast of the abyss in the apocalypse itself. Yeah, obviously, we all know that one.
Basic stuff. Yeah,
we're all
familiar.
Look, you learn this in Antichrist 101.
Yeah, you do. You do. And so it's just quite interesting because one of the things that really strikes me in terms of the way that he is attempting to use these ideas of Antichrist, and indeed these lectures on Antichrist, which are just garbage, just absolute dog shit too, is that so my little guy, my little preacher, my little Czech preacher, Jan Milch, what a guy. He spends all of his time thinking about Antichrist and writing about Antichrist, and he gets into some trouble because he does try to predict when Antichrist is going to show up. It's very cute.
What?
He thinks that Antichrist was probably going to show up by 1357 because he took he decided that you had to subtract some numbers that were given in the book of Daniel from the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem. And anyway, his point was though, and what you tend to see when you're looking at medieval preachers, when they talk about Antichrist, is that they say, we've got to stop this, right? We have got to look at the world, and we Antichrist could show up at any moment. Clearly things are going the wrong way. So here's the things we need to do in order to stop it. And it usually has to do with cleansing of the church. That's the big one. Usually it has to do with giving more money to the poor. It's just just standard stuff like that. And what you see with Thiel is kind of the opposite. He really wants to hasten the eschaton in many ways. And he's kind of oh, cheekily, give me more money and I can stop this. But also at the same time, he's well, actually, no, I can't. But maybe you're going to be one of the elect who will not die.
He's just up there. He's up there vamping. He's riffing.
Yeah. And it's just it's very clearly, the riffs of a person who actually doesn't have a depth of knowledge on this. I don't mean I don't mean to pull rank, but I guess I do. I absolutely mean to fucking pull rank. I'm buddy, what are you talking about? There is a great breadth and depth of knowledge on this subject, and you are in over your head, but he's so used to no one ever calling him on his bullshit that he could just say stuff and it's apparently fine, right?
Really, really funny to get a bunch of this stuff from Nick Land, a guy who is dumb in and of himself.
I know.
And also then fuck it up in translation, this sort of game of telephone. And I like thinking about Nick Land sort of doodling his Babylonian demon sigils, being no, that's not right.
So what Thiel is really arguing is he says, hey, interestingly enough, Antichrist is going to be some force that arrives, some person who arrives as a kind of savior from problems created by science and technology. So that's anyone saying that the development of artificial intelligence should be slowed down. That's anyone saying that climate change is a problem. That's anybody also specifically trying to create,
Don't tell me the woke Pope's the Antichrist. That's so hack Protestant for the Pope to be the Antichrist.
Well, they'd love to do it. But it is also just kind of frustrating because one would think that the Antichrist would be the one that was destroying God's creation. But hey ho, who am I? Just a scholar of Antichrist but whatever.
Well, so what he is saying is that the Antichrist will emerge as a thing that promises to solve some kind of problem. That a problem could also be things like wealth inequality. So, for example, anyone in every case, I mean, this is it's in many ways, this is classic Bircherism, where he's like, there's going to be a world government and then the Antichrist is going to take it over. So he's like, oh, maybe it's Greta Thunberg, who's got obsessed with the same time every other fucking internet weirdo got obsessed with her. He says, in the 17th or 18th century, the Antichrist would have been like Dr. Strangelove, a scientist who did all this sort of evil, crazy science.
What?
Sorry, I'll repeat that maybe just. In the 17th or 18th century, so from 1600 to 1799, so anywhere really from the 30 Years' War until the aftermath of the French Revolution, the Antichrist would have been Dr. Strangelove.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
And
why the fuck not? Oh my God.
A scientist who did this sort of evil, crazy science. The evil, crazy science they were doing in 1670.
I'm not even sure what
Dr. Strangelove would have been doing in 1670.
Dr. Strangelove.
Yeah. Peter Sellers.
The nuclear scientist in a 20th century set movie would have been doing in the 17th century.
Yeah. It's called a headcanon, okay?
All right.
Well, this is what I come to at the end, which is this is just a guy who's done too many stimulants and did 4 2-hour posts at the Commonwealth Club in San Francisco.
Yeah, I think that the trouble is this is, a really common thing. It's like a stupid guy's idea of being smart, so the way I kind of refer to it as collapsing time, the way that he's been like the 17th or the 18th century, 2 vastly different centuries. Let me, just be clear on that. I don't mind if you play a little faster and looser with that sort of thing in the Middle Ages. I will get, but the 17th century and 18th century are really, really different times in terms of the way that we relate to science. Just for a start. But also it's just kind of a misunderstanding. It's you don't even understand, you can't even say Victor Frankenstein. You can't, there's even then, we're talking later, but
it's just like Musk. What Thiel does is he riffs because he's never had to, or it's been decades since he's had to have a conversation with someone who doesn't want something from him. And so you're just able to kind of say whatever. And, you don't want to be picking up sort of oh, really? In your sort of 8-hour lecture on the Antichrist, you sort of congealed the 17th and 18th centuries together. But I mean, really, if you're trying to do something, if you're trying to make statements this sweeping and grand, which is Greta Thunberg is going to create a world government and then ascend from the Mount of Olives to start the war in the plains.
Why do you think she was on that flotilla?
Yeah,
I guess it just doesn't make sense too, because fundamentally the person of Antichrist has to be one that is imbued with worldly power. That's the entire fucking point.
Well, here's where the René Girard comes in.
Because he just does not understand Girard. But anyway.
Again, and this is, again, a pretty common package of beliefs among right-wingers, which is that in order to think that Greta Thunberg is the Antichrist, you have to think that she's more powerful than you, Peter Thiel, right?
Which is just so funny.
And so how do you do that? And I think what we can describe as a misreading of Girard, you are able to just get the thing that allows you to justify that. So what are we talking about?
Yeah, so this Girard's big idea that he kind of came up with as a philosopher is what we call mimetic desire. And this is kind of building on Sartre, and his thing is that you don't, as individuals, we don't have a unique and essential self. We don't have a unique and essential I. And instead, what we have is a kind of emptiness, which we then fill by seeing individuals in front of us, and we then, identify with them, through mimesis, and then we say, okay, well, I want that because that person has it, right? And this has been really misunderstood in general by tech bros, because they like to use it to say, okay, this could be a way, for example, of spurring one on through the business world because you see what your boss has and you wish to become like that. And then this might create a rivalry between you and your boss. But this isn't what Girard means at all here. He's kind of and then there is this sort of emptiness to it, right? That's kind of the point, is that there is no kind of essential I. You're kind of in this socially construed idea of what desire can mean. And what Thiel is attempting to do here is saying, oh yeah, and that can really lift you above and beyond to a new realm of excellence. And the point is it cannot, right? The point is that can't happen because you can't there is no fucking self, right? There is no essential you. That's the entire point. Really, Thiel kind of is identifying a little bit more with Sartre, who thinks that like you can kind of overcome the emptiness of the self through a heroic act. But Girard doesn't think that at all, right?
So the other thing that they're talking about, or that they really come back to, is this idea of victimhood and scapegoating.
Yes.
So it's like, well, competition comes from mimetic desire, and that in order to resolve competitions between different people, you would then, the only way to find peace, if they're relatively evenly matched, is to choose a third party who will act as the scapegoat, who will be blamed, and so on and so on. The crops have failed. Everyone wants food. What are we going to do? How are we going to deal with this? That woman's a witch. Let's kill her, and then we'll and then our problem will have been solved. The other thing he says is that the Christian tradition basically makes scapegoating impossible because Christ is the ultimate
for sure, man.
victim.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Who is it blaming?
A little St. Hugh of Lincoln was absent for comment, but okay, cool.
Or you could even like be generous to it and say, okay, well, that idea as it gets secularized into liberalism says that you shouldn't be an aggressor. You should identify with victims, which is why we have a Department of Defense rather than a Department of War. Right. It's that you shouldn't be an aggressor. Being an aggressor is bad. So basically, on the long term, what Thiel would say is, well, liberal societies have begun prioritizing victims over winners. So people compete to be the biggest victim. And now the strong are the new scapegoats. And so Greta Thunberg is much more powerful.
Damn. He's got my ass. I'm actually jealous of him.
Oh, yeah. Well, which is hilarious because, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I think that there is a particularized reading of liberal society, like, especially like, from a Reichian standpoint, which is that there is this kind of like, desiring servitude as though it was our salvation thing that is going on for sure. But, I think that it's also like a misunderstanding of how, identity politics is meant to work. Read the Combahee River Collective Statement, everybody. But, the point is that this is just not a way to apply Girard. Like, it just simply isn't. It doesn't actually work within his own philosophy, because within that you're supposed to understand that there's like this fundamental emptiness of that, and how that cannot work.
Well, what you're doing is you're taking Girard and you're just mapping it onto pre-existing culture war stuff that was defined like by fucking Pat Buchanan.
Yeah, and it's like, this is embarrassing shit. Like, Girard did a degree, like an undergrad degree in medieval history. His father was a medieval historian. I'm like, I just don't think that he would not be signing on for this, and it is like a fundamental reconstruction about like what he meant in terms of this particular political philosophy. Now, I don't find it to be I don't find it that useful, like your girl's a Delusionitarian, etc. But I just also think that it is a really gross misinterpretation of that particular philosophical tendency. And it does not map on well with what Thiel is saying about Antichrist doctrine.
What Thiel is saying about Antichrist doctrine is mostly just a mishmash of stuff he kind of came up with on the spot.
Yeah, which is, again, it just is, I'm sorry, but this is like Antichrist coded. Like, it's just, it's so, and it's like, no, actually, it's the weak ones who are kind of like challenging political structures that are actually powerful. Okay, can you explain how? Absolutely not.
Oh, people like them.
Yeah.
Which to me is some kind of unbelievable superpower.
My 15-year-old nephew who said I'm a dork likes Greta Thunberg and not me, so therefore Greta Thunberg has all the power, while I roll around in fucking Scrooge McDuck's money bin. Like, fine. So
the other thing is this is very connected to Carl Schmitt, the Nazi jurist, guy who sort of came up with the doctrines that would suggest that the state of exception and so on. So he also did a lot of thinking about this, and what he said the catechon being the thing that holds back the Antichrist. And so what the world is too fragmented and nationalist to ever have a world government that the Antichrist could take over.
Oh, it's convenient.
And that if you're, convenient,
cool.
Convenient if you're like a network state person as well.
Or a Nazi.
Yeah, well, yes, quite.
But I love it because it's like My Little Preacher. He says that the catechon is like, is the Holy Roman Empire. It's so cute. It's like, it's nice how, because he's like trying to get money out of the emperor, which he is successful in doing.
The catechon is perhaps you?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it's you?
Could it be you? Kind of, I think 100%, like it's very funny because there is, what I will say here is that is fully medieval. That's bare medieval. We love it. You know, like just saying that like whoever it is you're trying to, you know, impress or whatever it is you need is the catechon, right? I love that. That's cute. That's beautiful. That's traditional.
So what he says basically is in these talks, he's asked, well, what do you do about the Antichrist? And because he actually is in a world where nation states are still a thing, where there is no prospect of kind of like a globally unified tax justice system, even though he cites that specifically as something that would reduce the power of the catechon.
Sure. Oh, for sure.
Specifically, he cites that. He's like, I don't know, lower my taxes.
It's so stupid.
If the British government ever brings British overseas territories under not just the sort of international diplomatic, but also financial regulation, if they ever regulate the Cayman Islands, the Antichrist clock has just ticked 3 minutes closer to midnight.
Yeah, the minute Jersey is like actually.
Yeah. The Antichrist is a brass plate company that is registered in Jersey. So anyway, he basically says, surprisingly, that the more powerful the science and technology sector is, the better things will be for preventing the coming of the Antichrist. Shock horror. The less powerful like tax authorities are, the more we will subdue the Antichrist. Shock horror. The problem is like fucking Thiel, Musk, even Alex Karp, the current CEO of Palantir, they're all on so many fucking drugs.
That's the thing. Is like it just reads like I just feel like I've had this conversation before, like in the smoking area when someone was on too much speed.
But it's also there's a specificity to the drug use as well, right? In that it's not just because people in their position have always been on drugs, fine, whatever. But there's a real kind of suicide pills at the Berlin 1945 Wagner concert vibe.
They're not really having a good time with it. Like some of us are taking drugs and getting jacked off by like our autonomous robots.
Goddamn right.
But these guys aren't doing that. They're just having no fun at all. And it's just like, I don't know, every time I hear this type of stuff, like I roll my eyes kind of so much because it just does sort of feel like your grievances are entirely like rooted in your sort of what feels like a troubled like adolescence, right? The idea that like the powerful people are the ones who are popular or the ones who are charismatic, the ones who are sort of like who can actually like hold a conversation. Like basically like the people that threaten you are the ones who are able to do the things that you can't do. And most of the things that you can't do are like interacting with other people and getting them to sort of like you, right? Which is why like, you know, you are in a tech industry which sort of exists within a siloed bubble and where like your power has largely come from sort of hollowing out everything else and making people sort of dependent on your services, and in doing so like also kind of like weakening sort of political structures so much that they are sort of dependent on you, right? And now you are sort of reckoning, as in like an industry, like you are reckoning with the idea that like people don't actually like you. They have to use your services. Sure, they have to kind of like you have to sort of be, they have to engage with you in some capacity because you've become so fucking annoying that like no one has another choice. But like in the course of being annoying, like people don't have to sort of show any deference to you. And it does feel like this new stage of like sort of the kind of the consolidation of tech power is very much just like, oh, these people are either going to like me or I'm going to force them to pretend that they like me, or they're going to have to serve me and they're going to have to like me as a result. And like, on one side of it is like, okay, we're going to like make everyone like, sort of manage the robots for jack people off. But on the other side, it's like, oh, I want people to like now worship me as a sort of antichrist or like a messiah figure. But in like all those instances, it's just like you are just like trying to get people to like you, but in the most antisocial way possible. And you could just like chill out a little bit and just sort of ask how people are doing or like what they think about something. Like it doesn't feel that difficult. And like for whatever reason, they're always like very convoluted, very sort of like, and it's all rooted in like anger and resentment and vengeance. And it's like, I don't know. I just, these guys, man, I don't even know what to say about them.
What I will say to Peter Thiel is, as a charismatic person who's more popular than you, I might be the Antichrist. And for 5 million British pounds, you can make me go away. And I will stop making fun of you forever.
They're strange people. And I mean, I think the Alex Karp comparison is apt, right? Because you're now seeing people kind of talking about shorting Palantir on the basis, not just that, the valuation doesn't make any sense, but because he keeps going on TV and being fucking weird.
Yeah. And then this is the other thing too. I was like watching, unfortunately, I was watching a clip of Elon on Joe Rogan after Zoran like won the election, or when
that was
it was
sad,
very clear.
yeah.
And like Elon's going on this thing about like, oh, he's got this, like they're all like being really fucking weird about him and were saying that he had like doing like eugenics on his face and stuff. And Elon's just like, oh, like, yeah, this guy, he's like sort of he didn't say he's a grifter. He said he was a swindler or something like that. And Joe Rogan's sort of like, okay, what did he do to make him a swindler? And he just like like doesn't know what else to say. And so he's just like, oh, like he kind of just tells people what they want to hear. And it's like, well, that's what you do as well. Like your whole,
like, damn, that's crazy.
Your entire record. I mean, number one, yeah, that's crazy that a politician tells people what they want to hear. But the other thing is like the entire reason you are a trillionaire is because you have spent your entire career like telling people with like more money than sense that like one day they will get a robot that will jack them off, right, and won't kill them. And like you have to sort of project that fantasy in order for everything to keep going. As you were saying, Dr. J, it's all about like the kayfabe, right? It's like, the whole sort of economic structure as it exists is built around people, like the money people who are just like, they have to believe that like whatever future that they want, like the future that they envision is like kind of materially possible, at least in some form, in order for the money to kind of keep exchanging. And at one point, like, and I think that we're becoming weirder as a result of like trying to reckon with the idea that like that doesn't work. And like, Zoran winning and sort of him winning in a very unconventional way without sort of big money behind him and being very like, and that kind of affording him a sort of power that like none of the other candidates were really able to do, or like Cuomo wasn't able to do. Like, and sets like a good example of like, okay, here is how you can win by being normal and being charismatic and being friendly and actually being interested in how people live in the world. And it's kind of the exact opposite of like what these guys believe in, right? Because these guys just, the tech guys are just like, no, you shouldn't actually give a shit what people who are like lower down the food chain, like how they live, right? They should just serve you and they should just like aspire to be you at best.
Well, this is a good segue into sort of the minister who's like Peter Thiel's faith advisor, the guy who runs Acknowledging Christ Within Technology and Society 17, Act 17. He says, this guy's name, Jonathan Gundlach.
Okay, all right.
In the last 2 years.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, Jonathan Gundlach.
Okay, sure.
All right. Okay.
So Jonathan Gundlacher says,
Colonel Stephen J. Lockjaw ass.
yeah, fuck yes. This is where I went with it as well. Like, come on. In the last 2 years with AI, it definitely feels like we've unleashed more of a high stakes conversation on all fronts. There's a heightened sense of spirituality because it feels like we're dealing with a new form of being that has infinite potential, kind of like a god.
No, it doesn't. But anyway,
God couldn't make hands,
yeah, famously.
Yeah, that's. I'm better at creating life.
Having read Act 17 when you first mentioned it,
Nova?
So the Apostle Paul goes through Greece and he's like, a lot of temples which God doesn't live in and icons which God isn't. And one time I saw this altar that said to an unknown God, and then uses this to kind of ridicule paganism on the basis that like you are worshipping something that you do not understand what it is.
Wow.
Good. This is
holy moly.
This is just like, this is quite heavy signaling that all of these people are working together as the Antichrist. I feel.
I'm sorry. Like, it feels like they're just telling us.
I do think maybe why would you call it that? Why
would I?
For as I walked around and looked carefully at your objects of worship, I even found an altar with this inscription: to an unknown God. So you are ignorant of the very thing you worship, and this is what I am going to proclaim to you.
It seems like they're putting it on a placard at this point.
It is really like, of course, the last part, the clues.
Yeah, it just kind of feels to me like, when people are say that, I don't know, like Beyonce has to do Illuminati signs in her videos or something. It's like the equivalent of that actually happening for me. And I don't know, like, I know that I've been driven insane by simply reading too much medieval theology constantly, but I don't really have another way of relating to this.
We're running long, but I want to cover a few more things before we finish. That basically, Thiel said specifically in one of the other lectures that he's making this religious argument specifically to try to inspire people to resist a glowing web of global rules on things like taxes. He says, there's a lot of rational reasons I can give why a world state's a bad idea. Turn the planet into a prison. I think the tax rates would be very high. But if you strip it from the biblical context, you'll never find it scary enough. You would never really resist.
This is Protestant shit. Can I just say that? This is real prod hours. Like, because like obviously the Universal Catholic Church should, be kind of like constraining Antichrist anyway, if you're coming at it from the Catholic
competency,
Yeah, and it's like they are a legal entity. So I mean, it's this is prod. This is prod. That's all.
Yeah, well, because if your relationship with God is entirely personal and you are going to let's just say, take this idea seriously, that this thing has to be held back, then the only way you could really imagine doing it is by making that happen is by a kind of mass outpouring of moral behavior inspired by God or some kind of moral crusade, or a small number of people who are powerful enough and agree on all of it, say the kind of people that Acts 17 might be ministering to take over as the universal Catholic Church. They get to have the personal relationships with God.
Well, they got to go through woke Pope first.
I just feel like Martin Luther has so fucking much to answer for.
Yeah. Thiel went on to say, it's become quite difficult to hide your money. An incredible machinery of tax treaties and sanctions architecture has been constructed. Wealth only gives the illusion of power and autonomy, but you have the sense it can be taken away at any moment.
Actively feels well. That's the only honest thing he said so far. That's all this is the kind of terror that someone might actually take your sort of ill-gotten gains off you.
But he also laments the actions of the ICC, suggesting that they've started arresting more people, such as Rodrigo Duterte, and that they have warrants out for Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant as Antichrist to arrest those people.
Yeah, it's Antichrist. I don't want to hear a single word on Israel from any of these people who think that it should exist specifically for anti-Semitic reasons and about the end of the world. That's all.
So during Q&A portion of one of his lectures, someone asked for Thiel's thoughts on the ICC, saying, if we get rid of the ICC or other organizations that in theory to bring justice, then how should we write global crimes? For example, should we not have persecuted Nazi war criminals? Thiel responds, there were a lot of different perspectives on what should have been done with the Nuremberg trials.
Oh my God.
It was sort of the US that pushed for them. The Soviet Union wanted to have show trials, and Churchill just wanted summary executions of 50,000 top Nazis without a trial.
He's misremembering a fucking trivium that's about the Yalta conference, that's about Stalin and FDR taking the piss out of Churchill. It's a famous sort of dubious story that they're sort of we talked about it on the KGB episodes about Judgment at Nuremberg, that Stalin sort of tries to provoke Churchill by being like, we got to shoot 30,000 Nazis, and as Churchill's getting in his feelings about it, FDR, who is has a better relationship with Stalin than he does with Churchill, is like, no, I think there's a compromise here. We shoot 29,000 of them, and Churchill doesn't get that it's a joke and storms out. It's an old bit that he's misremembering.
Nice.
Basically, Peter Thiel is getting up on stage and sort of intoning quite sort of forcefully about how unless we figure out who's on first, that's another the Antichrist will be heralded. But a lot of it is again just insane, cokey rambling, such as his obsession with the number 33 that he talked about in the fourth lecture.
Nice, saying
Christ only lived to age 33 and was history's greatest man. The Antichrist will somehow outdo this. I don't want to be too literal in the 33 number, but rather that the Antichrist will be a youthful conqueror. 66 may be the new 33 in our gerontocracy.
I was going to say, well, Zoran is 34 years old, so
he's clear.
Yeah.
But something like these numbers do occur mystically through a number of different contexts. Buddha began his travels at 30 and experienced ego death at 33. But I could be ecumenical and say something nice about Islam. One idea that's pretty cool is,
oh, fuck you.
When you're reborn in your afterlife, you're reborn as your 33-year-old self. Livy, the Roman historian's 33rd chapter in the 33rd book, it announces this 33-year-old conqueror. This is Alexander at the peak of his power.
This man is unwell.
Or even in Tolkien, the hobbits have a coming of age ceremony at 33. That's how old Frodo is when he gets the ring. It is just the most yacked up guy you've ever met who has managed to corner you in a kitchen for 8 hours. It is like a whole work day of the most cocaine things you've ever heard.
I mean, it's just also, I will say from a historical perspective, I'll just say that 33 only applies historically to men, and for women, it tends to be younger, more like 20.
I've missed my chance to be the Antichrist?
Yeah, I know. But this idea about when humanity peaks, and the idea that it's kind of like a middle age for it's only for men. So just a keen little reminder there.
So how do people respond? I'm personally ready for horns to grow out of his head in the middle of talking. That would be great, said one attendee who identified himself as Dick Gay.
Shout out, Dick Gay.
That's ultimately right.
That's my boy, though.
The people who want to hear Thiel's cokey rambling, to them it's a post, it's a meme. And they're being like, yeah, my name's Dick Gay, and I'm here to see Peter Thiel talk about demons.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I'm sorry, but it is just Antichrist coded. Like Dick Gay is right.
But Dick Gay is for this. Right. Mr. Gay.
Mr. Gay.
Please, Mr. Gay was
Anyway.
my father. Call me Dick.
Is an attendee at, Barry Weiss's Bovine University in Austin and is is a Thiel fanboy. He's like, yeah, Antichrist, cool.
Do you think Dick Gay is his real name, or do you think he's having a joke at our expense? That only just occurred to me.
So Palantir makes the AI technology that decides who lives or dies in a battlefield, which seems exactly like the Antichrist Thiel describes in all his lectures. I'm curious about what he has to say about that or what excuses he might make. He does not address it.
Okay.
Another attendee, Justin Park, said he was only there to pitch Thiel on putting a 7.5-foot cross on the moon. He wore a banana.
Hell yeah. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, that's God honoring. Sure, why not?
Yeah, God loves that.
The 43-year-old said his company, the Cross on the Moon Coalition, I wonder what they do.
No, come on. You got to at least come up with a name.
Says to glorify and evangelize Christ through space exploration.
There's too much Protestantism around here. I'm sorry.
Putting the cross on the moon would cost $40 million, but, quote, Thiel could be the rock this project needs.
The moon is part of the Catholic Diocese of Orlando, and that's final. Sorry.
Listen, I'm sorry, but the moon is Catholic.
Yeah.
I will not expand further on that.
Another guest who asked about the talk simply shrugged and said, mid.
Pause. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's one for the ages. Thank you.
There we go. So anyway, this is the definitive take on the Peter Thiel Antichrist lectures. It was
mid. It was mid.
Yeah, it was a series of half remembered bits of historical trivia and misunderstood French philosophy, all taken together to masquerade a kind of annoyed post at the government, a Facebook post, into an 8-hour series of lectures that everyone had to listen to or everyone has to at least think of, because this is the guy who invented the kill you computer.
Cool.
I just think that it's cool how we let these people live in a world where they have never experienced criticism or consequences. That's fine.
Yeah. The last thing he did, by the way, is he tried to make Elon unsign the giving pledge, the Bill Gates giving pledge, because it's like, hey, if you're going to give half your wealth away when you die, then Bill Gates is just going to use it to invent.
Maybe that guy's the Antichrist.
Yeah, well, he does. He thinks maybe, but Bill Gates isn't personally charismatic enough. But I think everything else about Bill Gates to Thiel suggests that he's the anti. He's going to invent a straw that you can drink from puddles from that doesn't switch your gender. No, or that does, because he meant woke 3. So he says, it's always you're careful. It's going to go to Bill Gates's, communist nonprofits. And then he says, Elon was pretty fluid on it. He says, I think the odds of me dying are higher than 70 basis points. But what am I supposed to do? Give it to my children? I certainly can't give it to my trans daughter.
Cool.
Wow.
If you didn't think you could hate him more.
Oh my God.
You didn't think you could hate him more.
She doesn't need your money.
No.
Girl is getting paid. She's booked and busy. She doesn't need your ass. Whatever, dude.
Anyway, look, that is all we have time for today. Of course, it's run a little bit long, but
That's my
Dr.
fault.
J, thank you as always for coming and bringing some historical knowledge to the show.
Yeah, and if you like this bullshit, you can check out my podcast, We're Not So Different, where I do this regularly. And if you're more particularly interested in medieval apocalypticism, I did, for History Hit, do a film on it earlier this year. So you can check that out at historyhit.com.
Lovely. And thank you all for listening to this free episode. There is, of course, a bonus. It is released later this week, and that is going to be on the Patreon. And on the Patreon, there is a new thing. Something that's never been done before, which is myself, Andrew Law, and Kill James Bond's Devon are going to be watching every episode of season 6 of The Show Bones, the only season of The Show Bones that was ever made.
I hear that there's discussion about who had what for breakfast.
We just started doing that.
I bet that's a podcast with a really good name.
Yeah. Oh, well.
So you can check that out on the Bunta Vista Patreons, our Patreon, or the Kill James Bond Patreon. It's all there. It's all bones.
It's all bones all the way down.
All bones all the time. So
get boned. I don't know.
Yes, come bone down with the Boney Island Whitefish. Hey, everyone, take these bones to bone storage with the Boney Island Whitefish. All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We will see you in a couple days on the Boney Island Whitefish.
Bye, everyone.
I hope to see you all there. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.